Hi everyone and welcome to Enlightenment TV. Okay, this is the Dream Reader part 2. It's actually now even more crazy than I thought it is. Because kind of like I just thought I'm gonna give you the second dream and then the day that happened, but actually now there's even a connection to the first part, which is the comment that was made. And yeah, again, Valdemar, thank you for the comment, because obviously 4 eyes see more than 2. And yeah, so what you have read in the dream, I didn't even think it that far. Now as you say it, the wall on the side, it is exactly, I don't know what I said in the video or there, but I knew that this wall, it was just a wall, it represents city life. And now with this whole pandemic thing and so on, it's even more of a cage than it was before. And city life is really creepy. I mean, here you have like really only the dirtiest dirty water, it even stinks. It's just epic. Anyway, and yeah, here I only want to live like only in rural areas, obviously. I mean, same as in Germany, but in Germany even the rural area is already too much city life, too much control through government and stuff. So because I uploaded this video today, but I made it like, I don't know, a month ago, I today had to think about this dream and the few details that came with it. That thing that dropped on my head, this black lizard thing, is actually super dangerous. It is super dangerous, but it is actually harmless at the same time, because it rarely goes aggressive, which was also like symbolically through the feeling, the way it dropped on my head, like it was just like a stick, you know. It's like completely harmless. Like I didn't even feel a single second threatened by it and whatever. And today I was thinking about, and now I kind of like started feeling how crazy that actually is, which is connected to the scene in the Matrix. Probably I've forgotten the scene, and I just rewatched it recently within the past 2-3 months, whatever, or half a year. There's the scene in the Matrix where the ship, this Nebuchadnezzar, the ship of Neo and Morpheus and whatever, where it's being hunted by those sentinels, by those octopus kind of looking beings, and they go after the ship. And then they hunt the ship down, and they're outside the ship, and then these robots come at them, and then Neo stops them. You know, he just makes the hand up and then he stops them, which basically means nothing else, that the world of which they thought to be the real world is actually also another Matrix. You know, it's just another game. And yeah, basically the chosen one is in every world the chosen one, like meaning there is no real world in this. It's only a game world. You only play like by whatever rules you make, because basically the chosen one breaks the laws of physics, right? So there are no laws, that's what it means. And this is a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream, and it's like finite, infinite, whatever. But you know, this is kind of what it means, and yeah, underlines kind of one more time. So the way this was in the dream and then in real life, that happened already before in real life, just 2-3 days before that. So that time when I was on the beach, I was a couple of days before that I was in town, like where I am now. And this was really so crazy. We borrowed a bike and then we went to buy something. And the place is where this happened is like, it's that steep, and then you have the main road, and so we would be coming from here. And so from the main road to where we were and where we've seen the snake, it was like 10-15 meters, 20, I don't remember, so it was super close. And then we've seen from the right hand side a snake coming to the left, and it went into the bushes, which, as I say, I remember that I recognized it eventually, but I kind of didn't pay any attention to it, that this already has happened. So the dream has already happened in this real world already, and kind of like, what? And now I kind of really, today, when I uploaded, I kind of really got it on the felt scale, just like, what? And so the snake crossed the road, and it put itself into the bushes, and its tail was still on the road. And I stopped the bike and I said to him, "Look, it fucking didn't leave completely. Let's check out." And "Oh, no!" Like, she's super afraid of snakes. And of course, not like I want to go there and just like poke the snake and but just kind of just to see what happens next, whatever. But she said no, and then we just continued to, we crossed the main road and whatever, which was also like crazy, because I always thought that snakes are super sensitive to sounds and vibration, whatever. So it was like double and triple surprised that the snake would be so close to the main road. And so, just like, what? Like, this happened, and as I say, this happened 3-4 days, 2 days before that dream, and then, like, also remember in that dream, after I woke up, and I had like many dream sequences and I recorded them, I think. This was like one of those sequences, because like how would you run and then you suddenly have a bucket and then you kind of jump and use this bucket as a seat, like a child that would be bathed, and then you just jump with it and then use it as a shield or whatever. Like you simply wouldn't think about this, it's because it's like not really realistic. But with what Valdemar said just now, with his comment, and with the connection to the, as I say, real life, not real life, dream, not dream, whatever, but let's, call it the real world where we are now. I don't know whether it is or not. As I say, it's like double and triple crazy that this dream already happened. The snake crossed. Only in the dream it came from left to right, and in real world it was from right to left. So it was kind of like counter mirrored, whatever. So yeah, that's that for part 1. And that lizard also, this is the crazy thing. These geckos and whatever, you're probably gonna see one in the background some point. They look like geckos, lizards, whatever. But this particular one that dropped on my head that day, that really looks like a snake with legs. This is really crazy, and that's why probably it's also like poisonous and dangerous. These small ones that are on the wall, no, I don't see any. Anyway, they don't look also poisonous and dangerous, they just like whatever. But this one looks poisonous and dangerous, but it was still super harmless to me, whatever. Crazy. So basically now, long introduction to part 2, whatever. So I first tell you what happened, and then what the dream was. So it was, how many days did I wait? Doesn't matter. Okay, 2 weeks quarantine in Cambodia when I arrived. I don't remember much what I did during the day. I mean, just sit around and I did a few videos and whatever. So what I remember, basically, this is where it matters then. Around 6 o'clock, 6:30. So pretty late I was already thinking like, hey, what? It doesn't happen like in the dream, like this can't be. Because everything pointed to this direction that the dream must come true, because otherwise I wouldn't dream it. So that's why it was kind of pretty late and but then everything was like in a dream. So then I get a call into my room. Yeah, okay, sir, your test is negative, you can leave, blah blah, okay, blah blah, okay. And called my wife, told her everything, then went down. He explained me everything because I had to deposit $2,000. He gave me the bill and said, yeah, that's the bill, 1,400. And I was happy that I get so much money back. It's another 400, but it was just a hoax. I didn't get any of it back. I got like $20-30 back because there were suddenly other million bills and stuff that nobody knew anything about, so total rip-off anyway. So then he explained me the bill. He told me, here, this is your how to call it, your permission to travel. It's valid for 1 day, so you may leave this place to your to your destination place, and it's valid for 1 day. You know, so it's like, I mean, proper World War III stuff, like really proper World War III, where you just know, okay, it's all about slavery, it's about to kill your ability to move in any ridiculous way, and thought, I mean, what prevention of what is that supposed to be? So I call my wife and she's like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, no, and this we can't, and this and that. So they couldn't move because this was kind of like, this was in April, I think. So this was the high season of lockdowns at this time. Lockdowns everywhere, because I was in Phnom Penh, the capital, and I would have to go like 150 kilometers. And there were 4 checkpoints, I think, like roadblocks and military and cops, or just like something in between military and cops, like whatever. And she's like, yeah, no, you cannot, because it was already getting dark. Like, no, you cannot, and alone in Cambodia, blah blah blah, because of course she's my wife and she's a woman, and of course they're like more afraid of everything, and Cambodia is really not a safe place. And because I already was dreaming of it all the time, sort of imagining in my head, like I would just, because there was no taxi, and there was no ability for a taxi possibility because of those checkpoints. Like my mom-in-law wanted even to get some cops from the town, some local cops, and pay them a couple of $100 so they could pick me up, but even those couldn't move. Like even higher ranked military couldn't move. You know, like really the whole country couldn't move. So when I arrived, everyone was just like, whoa, wow, and they like respected me for just that I arrived, that I could move, you know. And everyone was like really going crazy about it. So yeah, basically then there was another opportunity to get me an ambulance. That I go by ambulance because her brother, my wife's brother, had some connections there, but he said this is too epic and otherwise he loses his job, the ambulance driver, and he doesn't have that high position to decide this kind of stuff. So basically there was no opportunity for me to go through and arranged something, but I had to just make it out of the city somehow, and it was already pretty late. And then I get out of the hotel, and then I tell my wife, okay, look, This thing is temporary, it only works one day, and I got already those really bad slave vibes. I mean, I hate Phnom Penh, it's like the dirtiest, most fucked up city in the world. To me, it's really just business going there, like buying something or passport stuff, you know. Whatever it is really just business, and I don't enjoy it at all. So I get those vibes again, and just like really creepy. And because of this whole lockdown stuff, everyone's in full retard mode, like literally everyone's afraid everything. They're afraid the Rona bullshit, they're afraid the punishment of the Rona bullshit, because like this and that and whatever. And my wife also just like, oh yeah, and you have to wear a mask all the time everywhere. I just like, what do you mean everywhere? Yeah, every blah 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 blah. And then I purposely didn't put a mask on, even on those checkpoints and everything. And then one time nothing happened, another time nothing happened, another time she said, yeah, I have to put the mask on. So I put the mask on the checkpoint passed, I take the mask off again and I just drive. So it's like, whatever. But this was crazy. The town fully turned into a ghost town. Like, it was killed by 99%, like 99% of the people were gone. So anyway, I explained my wife the situation, say, look, I have to go now. It doesn't matter what you say, I have to go now, else this thing expires, and then I'm double and triple fucked, then what? Yeah, we will make you this, and I said, no, I just have to get out of here, I can't stand those fucking slave vibes. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. You know, I'm just thinking, she kind of like, then do what you want, if you know better, kind of like this, and start crying, and it's like, yeah, I mean, whatever, just get me someone here, tell him, the receptionist, just tell him to get me a tuk-tuk, just get me to the outside of the city, because I already knew that trucks can go, so I would just like get outside of town, and then I would just walk and just say, okay, pick me up, pay them something, however I would just leave the city, and you know, I wouldn't stay in this cage, or else I would get fucked anyway. I mean, like a paper that, you know, allows you to travel for one day, and then what? Then again you go to some kind of quarantine? I mean, they are completely in full retard mode here. The receptionist walks around. You would always have like a group of those motorbike drivers and those tuk-tuk drivers. And everyone refused to bring me. They were just like, oh no, we're afraid to bring you there, because then they might not be able to go back into the city, or because of the Rona bullshit, and because they're afraid of the cops. So whatever they all were afraid of, they all were afraid of something. He asked, like, I don't know, many people, more than 10. It's just like, what the fucking fuck? Just like everything packed, everything whatever. Just as I say, everywhere slave vibes, everywhere masks. It's just like, wow, epic, super stressful. Finally someone appears. He just picked someone up, and then he said, okay, I will bring you. And then he left to bring this one customer that he picked up away. So he comes back 2-3 minutes later. I let him talk to my wife. He looks nice and friendly. So I tell my wife what she should tell him. Okay, she told him, okay, she this net, they exchange numbers, so he can talk to her, she can call him up, whatever. Okay, done. Warte mal, Sohn, bitte nicht. Geh bitte dich abtrocknen, schnell. Komm, ich möchte jetzt das Video schnell fertig machen. Geh bitte, Sohn, schnell. Okay, ein bisschen darfst du, okay, komm. Oh no, now the dog start. Oh, that really sucks. Oh shit. Oh crap. My love, can you tell her to bring the dogs away? Nah, okay, the dogs. The dogs now, these puppies that you heard screaming day before yesterday, someone drove on them, and now one has one broken leg and the other one has 2 broken legs, so basically they're gonna be dead pretty soon, because nobody gonna take care of them. So. So yeah, I packed my stuff, I went with the tuk-tuk guy to the outside of the city. Then, like it always is, no one has money on their phones because they're Cambodians, neither do I. But yeah, no one can call, no one, blah 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 blah. Then I tried to call my wife, whatever. Then finally kind of worked out, and then we could establish some contact, and then yeah, blah 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 blah. And I remember we were waiting like 10, 15, 20 minutes to get someone to bring me further away. We stopped one truck, the truck said, yeah, no, I'm kind of just going there and coming back, not going that far. Because the place where I live is between Phnom Penh and Sihanoukville. And as I said, I don't remember, 1.5, 2 hours by car. At least 1 hour. With tuk-tuk we went like 1.5, 2 hours, I don't remember. So at the first place we couldn't find, then he drove another 200 meters. And then suddenly there was a tuk-tuk standing, and the driver in it was sleeping. So he woke him up, we made a deal. I mean, he explained him the situation, so they made the deal. It seemed then that the second driver didn't understand properly and made a super cheap price, which wasn't even the gasoline and whatever. So then the second driver talked to my wife. Okay, super nice. I found a driver, and then we went. So we're about to leave the city. We basically left the city. First checkpoint. You have to imagine they're so scared, and they're genuinely scared, because I mean they're just fucking stupid. Cambodians really are just. Majority is just completely retarded. No matter how much money they have, no matter what, they're just fucking stupid. Like literally, you just can't imagine. Those who have been, they probably know, but there, of course, you're tourists, you only see the good sides. But I know all these background stories and how things are, so I can tell you, like, Cambodians are the most stupid people in the world I know of. So the way this would look, they wouldn't even want to touch the papers or the permissions that they have. And if they would touch them, they would first spray them with disinfection bullshit, and then they would touch them. And other times they wouldn't even touch them, they would just come there and with the phone torch, and then have a look at them, and just like completely crazy. Like the entire country in full retard mode. You just tell them to panic and they just panic. They're kids, like literally. They have the intelligence of 9 to 12-year-olds. So the first checkpoint, they just refused. They just said go back, blah blah blah, and they don't give a fuck. They know they have the power, they have guns and shit, and Cambodia is not anything else. Yeah. So you either have your big fancy Lexus that you're driving and everyone knows you have some power to fuck them up, or you just some tuk-tuk and then you're being just, So we return. Driving through dust and whatever, super dangerous, always whatever. Go the opposite lane where you're not supposed to go and all that sort of shit. Drive into a side road, away from the main road. Go away from the main road, then go parallel along the main road, and then go back on the main road. This was the plan, and the plan was executed. I say super stressful, super annoying, but the driver had like a lion's heart, and I gave him twice the money that we paid him already. But we paid him already $100, but we're gonna send him another $100 at some point when I have more money, because he was the only one who wasn't afraid, and everyone else was, and without him I still would be whatever. So anyway, he really showed the lion's heart, and he drove us through the shittiest place, and boom, boom. Then there was some stuff locked. He just removed that stuff. I mean, the way Cambodians lock, just a stick fixed with some shit, so you just remove it and continue driving. And it was already dark, no one could see anything. And then, super crazy, super rural, there's nobody, just somebody sitting there, and then he asked him for the way or something, I don't know, because I can't I just understand a few words, but... So then he says, yeah, whatever, just whatever, I don't know, I think no information or whatever. So we just continued to go even more away from the main road, to then go parallel. So we go through the shittiest places, and one time I have to return, and this and that, around, and... I mean, roads are just like, literally like this in Cambodia, especially rural Cambodia. I mean, this is third world country, it's like, you can barely even call it road, but yeah. And then... everything everywhere is locked. I'm just like, what the... So then suddenly, so we have already just like, there was already another checkpoint, and we returned, and even more rural, even more away from the main road. So in total I think we passed 4 checkpoints. 4 checkpoints on like less than 200 kilometers. And every time annoying, every time problem. So then suddenly there was a checkpoint, and they kind of nailed us. And you suddenly see they have no uniforms, nothing, just normal clothes wearing people with walkie-talkies. And they just get more and more. It was just like 3-4 people, suddenly it's 5, 6, 7 people, suddenly it's 8, 9, 10 people, suddenly 15, 16, 19, 20, I don't know, many, and all talk shit, and my driver just whatever he tells them, my wife told me he was like licking their ass all the time, because this is how it is here in Cambodia. You just have to give them that power and that like, oh yeah, I'm your little dog, and just let them hear what they want to hear, and then they'll let you pass. If you fight, you just get shot and this kind of shit, because, you know. So yeah, again, they disinfect their shit and just they talk so much shit. I sit super calmly because I knew, because of the dream, I already knew it is already set up. It is already, I'm going home, there's nothing that's gonna happen. I've seen it already in my dream. That's why I was so sort of yeah, kind of not shaking within myself and having no doubts, no panic and nothing. So then after 15 minutes of whatever they were checking, whatever bullshit and whatever, and previously before that, like I told to the driver, I have the papers, I have those permissions, I have the COVID test, I have this bullshit that I can go home. And from the first time I think he didn't understand, that's why he didn't show them also on the first checkpoint, that's why they refused us and we had to go rural and around and whatever. So okay, then we passed this checkpoint, as I say, super stressful and annoying. Went on the main road, second checkpoint, I don't remember what there was, the same thing. I think that they didn't even want to touch the papers. They also just said go home. And we were already super far away from the city. So we went to the side and just waited till someone came. This was then when they didn't even want to touch the papers and just, oh look, it's dark and whatever, and with their phone torch, and they don't even want to get close to me. Because as I say, they're super brain dead and the zombie apocalypse has already hit. So the first soldier something, second, third, whatever, talk to my wife. They didn't even want to take the phone from him to hold the phone. So loudspeaker and then super noisy main road, whatever. They barely hear shit, then they didn't hear the address, the correct address, and said, hey, it's the wrong address, something like this, and then here you show them there, and then they, yeah, okay, it's the wrong address, okay, so yeah, blah blah, then again 15 minutes talking shit there, stupid shit. And then we could go. Third checkpoint. The funny thing was they all actually looked friendly, but made super, you know, but a lot of stress and whatever bullshit. Third checkpoint was actually where they looked really unfriendly, but they made the least problems. They made a picture for my passport and whatever, and this was like the last one. This would be like the district where I would stay. And there was a fourth checkpoint, think. I don't remember. At least 3 checkpoints, 4 checkpoints. So super stressful, super whatever. Really annoying. Finally I arrived and everything was okay. So yeah. And as I say, you kind of have to imagine the situation that even military, because I have some military relatives. I know how high ranked they are or not, but usually if you're military then you can get everything you want. Ja. Warte mal jetzt bitte, komm. Ich bin jetzt gleich fertig, so schnell, weil ich habe hier schon nicht mehr so viel Zeit. Okay. So, the dream that I had before that day, because that's why I knew everything will happen the way it happened in the dream. There can be no doubt about it. I was going on the main road. I was in Germany. I was going on the main road from my village to town where I always would go shopping, and there's a big mountain and like a, I don't know how to call it, dip. So I was there, and then there was a table similar to this one, just like a table, and with those chairs. It might have been a plastic table, and I think it was those chairs, those kind of chairs. And then there were people, and they were playing poker, I think, and then I went to those people and I played poker with them. And then I remember it was like a friendly situation. It was some friends or whatever. And I remember at some point I put my weed on the table because it was like, oh, I'm amongst friends, whatever. And suddenly my weed's being blown away. I kind of like I picked the weed up from my I pick up the weed from the floor. Don't remember exactly. There was at some point also just I look into my when I think it was when I first took the weed out before, when I was just now telling you this part. I took the weed out of my backpack, and then suddenly there was a lot of weed. And I didn't even expect that, because I had some weed when I went from Germany to Holland, and I wanted to smoke it before I leave, but then I didn't because I kind of was in a hurry a little bit, and it fucked me up. At the airport, I suddenly, because it's a QR code scan stuff and print out, there was no signature and stamp, and then the Cambodians refused me to fly. Then on a Sunday, this was Easter Sunday, I had to call the